Tonight's story was sent in by Sammy, aka Ripped Geek, on Reddit. As someone who isn't a firm believer in the paranormal, I strongly advise against the elevator game. This is a really messed up experience that I had that completely vanquished my skepticism regarding the paranormal. So I came to know about this weird urban legend known as the elevator ritual. For those of you who don't know what it is, just Google it. The other world sounded really intriguing, and I decided to go ahead with the ritual one fateful Saturday evening. I live in a flat on the 11th floor of a building, so despite popular advice, I decided to perform the ritual in my own building using the elevator I use daily, which, now that I think about it, was a terrible idea. God. I walked out of my apartment with the steely resolve and reached the elevator. Something in my mind advised me against what I was about to do, but my skepticism got the better of me, and down I went to the first floor in order to begin with the ritual. As I heard the ping of the elevator as I reached the first floor, I went on with the 426 210 51 routine. Not a damn thing happened. Although my heart was in my mouth out of anxiety and anticipation, there was no woman on the fifth floor. The elevator didn't ascend to the 10th floor either as soon as I pressed the button to go to the first floor. This was a huge ego boost for my skeptic self. I returned to my flat using the same elevator, feeling victorious. However, as the night went on, I just couldn't sleep. I usually have such a hectic day and sound asleep by 11:30 p.m. at max, but something was really off about that night. I twisted and turned in my bed the whole night and woke up exhausted and covered in sweat. After my chores, since it was Sunday, I went out to get some groceries. And to my surprise, the damn elevator was out of order. I immediately made the mental connection of the damaged elevator to my performance of the ritual and got very intrigued. I took the stairs, went out, got the groceries, and had a pretty normal Sunday. By 10 p.m., I was all ready to sleep when I heard loud and shrill cries outside my door, which was strange as the only other people on my floor were out on vacation. So, who could be screaming like that at 10 p.m. on a Sunday night? I went out to inspect the noise and I saw wet footsteps with a slight maroon tint to them. Kinda like mud, but slightly redder. Like somebody has a cut on their feet after walking in some muddy terrain. I followed the footsteps out of my stupid curiosity, and to my utter shock, they led me to the elevator, which I could have sworn was out of order not too long ago. Something in my mind compelled me to get into the elevator, go to the ground floor, and check out with the security guard who had signed in to visit the 11th floor. So, I got in, and down I went. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. The elevator doors opened slower than they usually do, as if unveiling something grand on the fifth floor, instead of the lobby I was intending to go to. A woman with dark hair wearing a black, tattered evening gown entered the elevator. Something inside me clicked immediately, and I wished I could run out of the elevator. However, I froze, something in me disabling me from moving. My gaze fixed at her feet, and I understood the source of those footsteps. Worn and torn skin dangled from her feet as if she was rotting from the inside out. And the smell, nothing could even be remotely close to it. God, it was so putrid. It was like a bunch of rotting corpses shoved into one person. As I looked up at her, she had a grin on her face. That evil, sinister, spine chilling grin which washed away my skepticism forever. At that point, I knew. The only way that I was getting out of this elevator alive tonight was by completing the damn ritual. I took a deep breath and pressed the button for the first floor. The elevator began ascending upwards. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. As much as I wished to get to the bottom floor and run out for dear life, I had this primal compulsion to run out as soon as the doors opened. I now understand why people get off the elevator on the 10th floor, despite it being so risky. You just want to get away from this woman. You want to escape death. As I ran out, her voice was in my mind.
Where are you going, Sammy?
Scared, pantsless, I ran, only to discover my utter solitude in the other world. It was like this hallway was endless. I couldn't get away, no matter how far I ran. I was stuck in some sort of loop. I briefly caught the sky outside through the corner of my eye and saw the reddish sky which I used to treat as fictional crap upon listening to others' experiences. There even was the fabled burning cross in the sky. As soon as I saw it, I couldn't move away my gaze as if in a trance. The cross was laden with limbs and body parts which seemed to have been ripped off of bodies. I summoned all my will, looked away, and pressed the button to summon the elevator. To my surprise, and contrary to what I had read otherwise, the elevator opened instantly. I got inside and reverse performed the ritual without any interference, surprisingly. Down I went to the first floor and canceled the ascension on time. I rushed out, traumatized, scared, and scarred. I took the stairs to the 11th floor, to my apartment, and crashed senseless on my bed. Thank God I was free. I drifted off to sleep. As soon as my eyes were shut, I was back in the other world. This time, my run was accompanied by her chase, and followed by a sudden wake up. I went through my day as bravely as I could, fearing the inevitable night and the sleep it contained. I tried to stay awake as late as I possibly could, but I don't know when. I was back there again. This time, she was dead ahead of me. Had no way of escaping. Her long, torn out finger stretched grotesquely and touched my abdomen. I was completely frozen. It was like a proper sleep paralysis. Her finger went through my skin and into my body. I felt a jolt of pain around my abdomen and woke up with a start. I was burning up. I had a dark red mark on my abdomen, and scared to the marrow, I grabbed my keys and drove to the ER as fast as I could. They told me it was internal bleeding. That's when I knew I had to seek help. She was no longer just some superstition, no. This was reality, and I was caught in its twisted loop. I went through some cleansing rituals on the internet, lying on the ER bed. The pain meds were kicking in, and my lightheadedness came with a feeling of despair as I knew I wouldn't wake up from another sleep. I prayed to God for the first time in my entire 25 years of life just to keep me alive for one more night. I don't know when I slept, but the next thing I remember was waking up to the sound of the janitor cleaning up in the chapel. I realized I had gone through the night unscathed. I immediately checked out of the hospital, bought some sage, cleansed my entire house, myself and my surrounding premises. It's been a week without any night terrors. However, I constantly feel a presence watching me as I get out of my house and cross the elevator to take the stairs. I know it for a fact that I'm alive as long as my faith is. And that was the elevator game by user Rip Geek on Reddit. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe and share with your friends. This story has taught me a lot of things. One of them being don't go testing random rituals you find on the internet because you think they're not real. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. And with that being said, good night.